Assalamualaikum. My name is Abdurrahman bin Bedu, matrix number MA19293. Today we will present about the rolling this on inclined plane experiment. First, we will present about the objective. First objective is to set up an experiment using on creativity. Second, to study the mass movement of inertia and the law of falling body on an inclined plane. Third, to collect the data of the mass moment of inertia from the experiment that have been done. And finally, to calculate the result by using given formula.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Shaza Awni binti Muhammad Asri. My metric number is MA19247. So I will continue for introduction. In order to complete our report for this semester, the last report that we have to complete is rolling this on inclined plane. It is a long report and we have been given 2 weeks to complete the task. For this report, we have to study and understand the concept of free fall and moment of inertia. Free fall is the object that falls with the same acceleration. It was first proposed by Galileo Galilei. An object that falls through a vacuum is subjected to only one external force, the gravitational force expressed as the weight of the object. An object that moves because of the action of gravity alone is said to be free-falling. If the object falls through the atmosphere, there is an additional drag force acting on the object, and the physics involved with the motion of the object is more complex. The acceleration of the object equals the gravitational acceleration. The mass, size, and shape of the object are not a factor in describing the motion of the object. Knowing the acceleration, we can determine the velocity and location of any free-falling object at any time. The moment of inertia is known as the moment of the mass of inertia. It is a quantity that determines the torque needed for a desired angular acceleration about a rotational axis. Rotational axis is an angular mass of rotational inertia of a rigid body that is similar to how mass determines the force needed for the desired acceleration. The moment of inertia is simply the mass times the square of the perpendicular distance to the axis of rotation. It is the sum of the moments of inertia of its component subsystem.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Tuang Muhammad Izzat bintu Muhammad Pozi. My metric number MA19257. And now I will continue this presentation. Let's see the experiment that I have prepared. Next, for the result from this experiment, for table 1, we must calculate the T-mean. To get T-mean, we need to collect the data 3 times, T1, T2, and T3 for the golf ball and ping pong ball. For the angle of inclination, 10 until 35. To get T-mean, T1 plus T2 plus T3 and divide it by 3, and we can get the T-mean for golf ball and ping pong ball. Next, for table 2 is the golf ball. We must calculate an acceleration, calculate time and deviation. Measure time we can get from table 1. To calculate an acceleration, first we need to calculate the moment of inertia, which is J. J equal to 1 over 2 times mass times radius squared. After we get the J, we can calculate an acceleration. The formula for acceleration is mass times gravity times angle times radius squared divided by J. After that, we can get the calculated time. Square root of 2 times distance divided by acceleration. And last, to calculate the deviation, measure time minus calculated time divided by calculated time and multiply by 100. So we can see the percentage of deviation for the angle of 10 until 35 is quite high.
Table 3 show a complete data calculated of ping pong ball roll time for a distance of 1000 mm. So we have the number of books, angle, acceleration, calculated time, measured time and deviation. So based on the result, if the number of books is increased, so the deviation between measured time and calculated time is decreased. So the ping pong ball will roll faster when we increase the number of books.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Fitri bin Hamzah. I'm from Group 5 and I would like to present on the discussion of rolling disc on inclined plane. So the first discussion is how to adjust the angle of inclination. So to adjust it is to turn the height adjuster spindle until the angulometer shows the desired value. Second is what is the purpose of the angulometer. So the purpose of the angulometer is to measure or gauge the angle of inclination. So the third discussion is, can you give an alternative method to measure the angle of inclination? So there are two other methods, which is using a protractor, and the third one is to use trigonometry calculations. So the trigonometry calculation can be referred from the equation below. So the fourth discussion is how to make a precise alignment for this experiment. So to make it precise is to make sure that the 3 bubble level is exactly in the middle. It can be made by turning the height adjuster spindle. So the fifth discussion is why the angle higher than 7 degrees cannot be used for this experiment. So when the angle of inclination is higher than 7 degrees, time taken by rolling this to arrive at the end of the desired distance is too short. Consequently, measurement error will happen and it will affect the experiment result. So the sixth discussion is give a definition of free fall theory, which discovered by Galileo. So there are two theories. First is a motion is said to be uniformly accelerated when starting from rest it acquires during equal time intervals, equal increments of speed. And the other theory is a free falling body undergoes uniformly accelerated motion in close proximity to the earth when the air resistance is negligible in relation to the weight of the body. The seventh discussion is give the factors that cause free falling body. So the factors are air resistance is negligible in relation to weight of the body. Moving on to the next discussion is what is the relation between angle of inclination and the rolling disc. The angle acceleration A is directly proportional with angle of inclination theta. From the equation below, you can see that A acceleration is equal to gravitational force times sine theta, which is angle of inclination. So the ninth discussion is explain the term inertia. So the term inertia can be described as the behavior of all bodies in retaining the state of rest or in motion is caused by a property of the body's termed inertia. So the 10th discussion is what repeatability of the measurement is important. So it is important because in order to minimize the measurement error, for this purpose the average measured time is calculated. 11th discussion is draw a free body diagram on the disc roll on inclined plane. So from the image below you can see that free body diagram of the experiment. So the 12th discussion is why deviation occurs between calculated and measured value. Deviation in measured values result from measurement inaccuracies and the influence of friction. So lastly is suggest improvement of this experiment. So the first suggestion is consider the friction in between the surface of the rolling disc and the inclined plane in the experiment to have more accurate and realistic results. And the last suggestion is to test the level of table or platform where the apparatus was set up before the experiment to make sure that it is perfectly level. That's all from me. Thank you.